It seems like one of the simplest of inventions, but it's gone through several major changes in the last 200 years.
I'm really excited to meet you. I'm a big fan of bicycle racing.
It started out as a novelty,
This is pain and suffering.
quickly became a fad, has worked its way into the lives of hundreds of millions of people, and could just possibly be the key to saving our cities and the environment. Let's go for a ride! Woo, woo, woo.
It's a big day in most people's lives. It's a kind of rite of passage to a newfound freedom. You ask anyone, they'll remember the day the training wheels came off. Let's go ride bikes. And the great news is, once you learn, you never forget. As the saying goes, it's like riding a bike. But what exactly do we learn? I mean, it's not like there's an instructor giving notes on a board or a pretty little booklet with a bunch of pictures. What do we learn? I think it's balance. And I think it's the belief that as long as we keep moving forward, we won't collide with the ground. And colliding with the ground is something you really don't want to do when you're riding one of these babies. Glenn Norcliffe is a cycling enthusiast, and he knows a whole whack of stuff about historical bikes, and he's going to teach me how to ride this thing. Right, Glenn?
Well, if you're willing, we'll go for it. I hope you've got good insurance.
Why do you say that?
There's one or two little risks. They're not the easiest bike to ride.
It's not probably much different than this thing.
You're a little bit higher than your own bike. You don't get nosebleeds down there.
No. Let's go. Let's learn.
Okay.
Do I need a helmet?
Wouldn't be a bad idea. This bicycle is a Victor light roadster made by the Overman Wheel Company of Chicopee, Massachusetts. This kind of bicycle developed in the 1870 very quickly during some races in Birmingham, and a guy came over from France with a bigger wheel and he won the race. And within a week or two, everybody wanted a bigger wheel.
I could use a smaller one. If we had a tricycle or something. All right.
Come here.
Left foot up.
Scoot along.
Scoot, scoot, scoot. And now you're saying get up?
Yep.
And off the road.
People think they look very unstable, but in fact, because of the weight in the wheel, it's like a gyroscope, so it's very stable. So you can ride no hands very easily. The wheel weighs probably 20 pounds.
This seems fine.
Quite easy to coast down a hill with your legs over the handlebars because there's so much weight in the wheel. Don't tell my mother I'm doing this. She doesn't like me riding no hands.
Look up my skirt.
So when you push down on the pedals, it wants to change direction. So you've got to steer and pedal and correct all at the same time. So it's quite tricky. The penny farthing is a little bit like a tricycle because the pedals are attached to the big front wheel. One revolution of the pedals is one revolution of the wheel.
Oh, nice. This is great. Thank you, Glenn. I'm flying on my own. Glenn, I feel free. I feel free. I feel too free.
Slow down.
Woo! Oh.
Think about a little kid's tricycle. The front wheel might be 50 inches in circumference. That means that each time the kid on the tricycle pedals through one revolution of the front wheel, the tricycle moves forward 50 inches. But let's say that Junior wanted to go fast. He wanted to go 20 kilometers an hour. That would translate to a little over 4 rotations per second, and that can get tiring. But if Junior had a bigger wheel, gears reduced the wheel size from 7 feet in diameter to something, I don't know, let's call it reasonable. Gears and gear ratios were actually a good solution to the problem of the big wheel. For example, if you put a gear with 42 teeth on the front chain wheel and a smaller gear with 14 teeth on the rear wheel, you have a 3-to-1 gear ratio. Now the back wheel can be 84 inches divided by 3, or 28 inches in diameter, which is about the size of, hello, a normal bicycle wheel. And that's what allowed big-wheeled monsters to become this. Enter the contemporary racing bicycle in all its glory. Canadian bicycle builders Cervelo are known for their high-tech, high-performance racing bikes. Cervelo designs original bicycles for competitive riding, and the main goal of their design is to reduce the aerodynamic drag on both the rider and the bicycle. It all comes down to the design and the geometry of the frame. Once the frames are built, they are rigorously tested for strength. The engineers actually set out to break their own bikes. They have 2 in-house testing rigs.
Okay, we test the frame in several ways. The first way is we actually test it for stiffness, and we use a static test machine for that. The impact test basically simulates what happens if you hit a pothole or a wall or a curb or something like that. You want the frame to be strong enough to accept that sort of impact and not break, and especially you don't want it to put the rider on the ground. You don't want it to fail catastrophically.
Failing catastrophically wasn't a concern for the guys who rode the first bikes.
This is a hobby horse. They were a craze in 1819. They were the first bicycle, not a true bike because you didn't pedal it, the first bicycle.
The hobby horse actually got its start a year earlier. It was an invention by Baron von Drais, and it was good for transporting him around the family gardens, but not so good for the family jewels.
In the 1819s, there's reports of people riding these things 10 miles. I have no idea how they did it.
The machine became known as the Draisienne, which I believe is German for the Nutcracker.
This is pain and suffering. They were popular with the dandies of that period. This was after the Napoleonic Wars. There were lots of soldiers flirting around and so on. The dandies rode these around this summer and occasionally crashed into people and rode on the sidewalk where they weren't supposed to and things like that. But the true bike comes in 1865 when you take this machine and you put paddles and cranks on it.
This new model was called the Velocipede, and it became like this total fad. Indoor riding academies similar to roller rinks could be found in large cities everywhere. This machine was the first one to be called a bicycle, Latin for 2-wheel.
And then we get into the high wheel era, which is the third era of the bicycle, goes from about 1870 to 1890.
But the big wheel was about to be eclipsed by a safer and, shall we say, saner form of bicycle. Thankfully, one more able to go around trees. One fundamental design shift would allow this ponderous cow, which I obviously still haven't mastered, to become this. It was named the safety bike, I think for obvious reasons. I certainly feel a lot safer on it. It's like a bike. It's not like that weird clown thing that Glenn had.
By the 1890s, the safety bike could achieve high speeds. thanks to the new gearing mechanism.
Da-na-na-na-na. Come on, let's race, let's race! Come on!
You can now go as fast as the high-wheeler clown bike. And with the invention of the air-filled tire, comfort was also improved.
Much more comfortable ride for the ladies. La 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 la. The bicycle gave women some liberty that they didn't have before. They could get a little farther away from home a little bit faster without harnessing up a horse and buggy. You can stop every once in a while and smell the flowers. Ride with friends and boyfriends out in the evening, unchaperoned. It's a perfect example of the changing mode of production from artisanal to mass production.
The first breakthrough towards mass production comes with Colonel Pope and his factories in Hartford, Connecticut. But once you've got light tubing, the bike gets even lighter and you're racing on these really light bicycles. So racing has actually been the key thing to push the technology of bicycles.
Hey! You guys, can I join your cycling club?
Jet Fuel is one of Canada's only pro racing teams, and they have let yours truly tag along for the day.
One technique racing teams will use to increase their efficiency is a technique called drafting, whereby one rider gets in the draft or the air wing of another rider. I just ride close enough to buck that the air he's punching a hole through closes behind me, pushing me along, so I actually get a drag. Of course, this isn't technically drafting. It's close enough. Come on, Buck. Buck's a racer. Buck's a big racer. Soft. Come on, saddle ass. Push it.
So, drafting is crucial in racing and plays a big role in tactics in a race. Like if the wind is coming from the left, you're going to be lined out across the road in a diagonal line. Every now and then rotating through to get a good break.
And it saves, 20 to 30% energy by being in the shadow, the wind shadow of the rider in front of you. And this is, probably the most important aspect of road racing. It's not always the strongest guy or girl who will win. It's sometimes the person who has saved the most energy the whole time, the whole day. More or less straight ahead.
Whew, I could use a smoke. I'm gonna drop off now. I'm a little blown up. You guys hung my ass out there in the wind, so carry on.
Thanks for the ride.
I think I'm gonna vomit.
Some of the first organized bike races in Canada were actually held by bike courier companies. 100 years ago, that was a hell of a dangerous job. Today, it's a hell of a dangerous job.
I think about 60% of the energy spent in a day is spent on, mental awareness. Because you got the tracks, the cracks, the missing sewer lids, the potholes, the doors, the people who might come out between the cars. And then the road rage comes into effect between a car and a bike. The car will win if that's what it's about. it's your job. And you like your job. Hi. A person who's decided to be a bike courier has come to terms with the fact that they don't want to work inside an office. And you're free, you know, you have a direction to pick up a package and deliver it, but there's how you get there and how you get to that pickup and how you get to that delivery. You're free.
Freedom, baby! That's the feeling of riding a bicycle. It's good for the environment, and it's good for you. So why, in a society choked with traffic, aren't more people getting out their cars and onto their bikes? Today, bicycle advocacy in urban centers is a movement gaining momentum, and there is a growing trend to get people out of their cars and onto their bikes. It's even become a new rallying cry for modern punk rockers with a political message.
Sometimes we do it up here, we'll throw a dance. We'll get a bunch of people, take all the parking meters, and play some music and start dancing in the street. If we get enough people, maybe we'll even stop the traffic, get them to turn off their engines for 5 minutes. Fucking give us a break. If we've got 500 people dancing in the street, we don't need a permit. Well, I don't think.
So, I want to dedicate this one to all those who are out street fighting every day on their bikes. Can you hear every word I say? Leave my streets, my town,
This is the owner of La Palette restaurant in Kensington Market. He's a bike rebel who is part of a movement to shut the market to cars altogether. They enjoyed some success in securing car-free Sundays. He practices what he preaches and does all his supply pickups on a cargo bicycle. He has thighs of steel.
When you get out of your car, you become a pedestrian again, right? You're no longer a car. We decided pedestrian Sundays was the way to go. Looking at pedestrian zones in Copenhagen or looking at how people use the bicycle in Holland, Germany, and Berlin, like, it's fantastic. It's about celebrating the culture that we have, the culture of Kensington, the culture of Toronto, the culture of all the cultures of the world, which is what this place is.
The bicycle and its rider are forced to adapt to an environment of concrete and steel that sprung up without the slightest consideration for them.
All right. Okay, we're about to go. Is everyone ready?
No, wait, I gotta pee!
Bike week starting now!
There is a recent history of trying to fit the bicycle in.
To encourage people that are just recreational cyclists to become a commuter cyclist so that you can come out and try to ride to work.
One of the first outspoken advocates of bicycle commuting was John Sewell, a Toronto mayor in the 1970s who actually would ride his bike to council meetings. Crazy.
It was considered weird, and they thought, oh, this is the same. He has long hair, he wears jeans and a leather jacket, and now he rides a bike. Ha! I wasn't doing it for ideological reasons, just because it was a practical thing to do. And I think that people began to advocate for bicycles when there got to be a relatively small, but nevertheless a critical number of people riding them. The only times they aren't terrific is rainy days, but hey, the world's not perfect. We should make this city more amenable for bicycle riding, and let's establish some bicycle lanes.
The City of Toronto is committed to a bicycle-friendly future. More biking means a healthier city and a better place to live.
Today, various groups of people have gathered together to fight for the two-wheeled cause. One such organization is called Critical Mass.
If you got enough people in the space, then it's impossible for a car to come by and break in and hit you. So the whole concept of critical mass is as long as you can create a sense of critical mass where you've got enough people in the streets, then it's your right to take that. And that's what we're doing.
It's so nice to take over the roads. It's ours. Yay!
Critical Mass is a peaceful demonstration on bicycles held on the last Friday of every month in many North American cities. Participants are not just pro-bike, but some are also explicitly anti-car.
Silly, isn't it? How much room one person can take up? It's measured to be exactly this ridiculous size of a car to get one person around. Hang on, I can't hear you. Let me unroll the windows.
Mes amis. What begins as an awakening sense of freedom and mobility in your childhood continues into your adult life. And for me, nothing is quite as freeing as cruising around on my bicycle. Look at this thing! You throw a basket on the front, toss your groceries in here. I think we need more of them. That's what I think we need. More. Can you imagine a city filled with thousands of people beaming, smiling, pedaling around? That sounds like utopia to me. Or Amsterdam. This is my favorite thing that moves. The bike, that is. Not the step. Whoosh.